Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. This is part 3, the final part, the wiring part of the Switch Pro power tray that I'm putting in the Toyota Tacoma. I've already kind of started a little bit, so let me catch you guys up. Actually not too much. Last we left off, we had the tray in there mounted and screwed in and all that good stuff, and the wires run through the firewall. Right now, we're working on the dimmer line, I'll call it. That's the white line that needs to run to some sort of a light source that only comes on when the power is on. The reason for that is to dim the unit inside the truck so that when your power's on or your lights are on and it's dark outside, that you're not blinded by this beaming light down in your dash area. So what I've done, I'm hooking into the side marker. Now, one thing I've seen, a lot of people have done this that have LED headlights. There's only one wire. It's easy to do. It's a little bit more difficult when you have the halogen bulbs like I do. So what you have to do is find the wire that goes to the side marker, which I've done. It's actually tucked right back in here. This is the wire, and I've put the little splice on, blue, you can see right here, on the purple wire. It is the purple wire. In this little bundle, there's a purple and then a white with a black line. You want the purple wire. So I've put the little splice on there. I've put the other end on the white wire. We're going to plug that in. Next up is to go inside the cab. We have to connect up the blue wire. This wire you must have. The system will not work if you don't have this. And it's going to hook into a lime green wire in a connector that I've exposed down here. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, we are inside this very confined area. You'll see 3 plugs here. A little one down here at the bottom, another one right above it, and then this bigger plug here. In that plug, if you have the same setup as mine, you'll see this lime green wire right here. That's the wire that we're going to splice the blue wire here into with another one of these little connector things. So I'm going to actually unplug this. I do have the power on the truck shut off, by the way. Make sure you do that. In other words, disconnect the negative terminal. But I'm going to go ahead, splice into that wire. Probably have to cut a little bit of this cover back so I can have access. And then we'll plug it back in, and then it's just a matter of hooking up the positive and the negative wires on the unit itself to the battery and ground. Okay, we've got the splice made. You guys can see it right there. It's the red connector on the lime green wire, and then I've pulled it through a little bit. Once I put that panel on, it'll be behind the panel. You won't see any of this. And I've got some more wiring to clean up. You can see some things kind of hanging around down here. But first we have to see if it works, and that means we need to hook up the battery. Okay, for the battery, this is pretty simple. You have a red cable that's going to go from here to the positive side of your battery. You have a ground, which is supposed to be grounded right to the battery, which I'll do last. And then a ground for the Switch Pro system itself. The rest of the stuff here, I should say the bus bar and the fuse panel, that I'm going to ground right here on the side. That'll be a short wire I'm going to run from here. And that's it. Once all that's done, we plug in the unit, which is up there, and go ahead and connect the power, and then we'll see if it works. Everything is connected, the power is on, but the truck is not started, so nothing should be happening, which it appears is true. Let's take a quick look at what I've done. We've got power here going to the fuse. The fuse is now on. I had it tripped before. Then we have power going to the fuse panel right here, and power going from the battery, which is how you're supposed to do it, to the Switch Pro itself, and then the Switch Pro grounded to the battery, and the bus bar grounded to the battery as well. So it should be a completely closed system now. Everything should be good. There's no lights. What's supposed to happen when I turn the truck on, you'll see these lights right here, T1, LT, and ignition. Those, the way I understand it, should light up when the truck is running, assuming everything is making contact. Honestly, those little splice things, I'm not real comfortable with those. I've had bad luck with those in the past. So I actually scraped the insulation off the wire to make sure that they contacted the little prongs in there that they're supposed to cut through the insulation and contact. So they should be good, but that's the only part that I really am questionable on. So I'm going to grab the keys. We're going to start the truck up and see if indeed everything works the way it's supposed to. I really hope so. I think so, but let's go ahead and start it up, see what happens. Well, I didn't hear any pops, so that's always a good sign. I don't see any weird stuff on the dash. That's a good sign. So let's go over and see. Let me turn the lights off. The switch is lit up. That's a good thing, but I want to turn the lights off. They're on auto right now. I want them off. So there, everything is off supposedly. We're gonna see, number one, let's check under the hood. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see if those lights lit up. I don't see anything smoking. We do have ignition lit up. That's a good thing. That's the bottom light. That's what's supposed to be lit. That's good. Now, let's turn the lights on and see if indeed the Switch Pro dims like it's supposed to. So see what happens. It did. Notice it dimmed. That is awesome. That means I have good connection on all my wiring. Now, one more thing I want to check while I have the lights on, and by the way, my side marker's still working. It did light up. You see the LT, which is that dimming feature, is lit up. So that's good. It means light. So everything appears to be golden. I am very, very happy. It's a fairly involved mod. It's not overly complicated, but it is pretty involved. So let me shut the truck up. I do have to button up some of this wiring here. This is just laying up here. I got to tie it down below, and the blue wire, and then the white wire I'm just going to secure to the side under here. And then I'll come back on and give you some final thoughts. Okay, I am completely done now with the Switch Pro install. It is finished. Here's another look at it. I have tied some wires up. The big bundle that you saw sitting up here, that's actually the control wire, or the control cable, I guess, that runs into the control unit mounted right here now. So I could have pulled it in and kept it inside the truck, but I didn't want to do that. It was just easier to zip tie it up under here, which is what I've done. So it's tied up there. The blue wire I just kind of bundled under here for now. I may do something a little more with that. I'm not sure yet, but it's done and out of the way. And then the light wire, the white wire, left a little bit of slack because if I ever need, for some reason, hopefully not, to get into the fuse control panel under here, I'll have to have room to lift all of that off. And that really is the only negative to the system, I think, is that it covers up the fuse box. So if you ever had to get in there, it'd be a little bit of an undertaking to do it. Otherwise, I love it. I think it's cool. Now, one thing I want to mention that a lot of people don't make clear, and if I'm being honest, and I try to be, I was ignorant when I started this because I thought you had to have the bus bar here as well as the fuse panel there. You didn't. It's actually two systems. The Switch Pro controls 8 accessories via the 8 connections here. Of course, you would need a place to ground them, so I guess having the bus bar is a nice touch. But you don't need to include the fuse panel. What that does is give me access to 12 more accessories I can run off of that are not controlled by the switch panel. Honestly, I did not realize that when I did it. It's a good surprise, I guess. So now I can run 20 accessories off of this setup if I want to. 8 of them controlled by the Switch Pro, and 12 of them controlled however I want, with a separate switch somewhere, which I don't know why I do that since I have 8 switches here. Or I can wire them to come directly on when the truck does, which is what I'm going to do with one of the accessories that I'm going to install. And that'll be a video down the road. I don't want this to get too long. But of course, I do have a couple of things to go ahead and connect up. Should make it seamless. Should be very easy now that I have this system all set up. Anyway, I just wanted to wrap it up. I know it's a part 3 and everybody hates multiple part videos, but it would have been like a 2-hour video if had I not done it this way. It is a pretty involved, time-consuming mod, but well worth it in the end, I think, if you're going to have accessories. And I do have 2 or 6, I forget, more lighting accessories coming for the truck. So this is going to come in very handy for me. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. What do you think of the Switch Pro setup? Too much effort? Not worth it? You'd rather just have wires all over the place? Or pretty cool? I'll go with the latter. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive Project Cars, currently about the Mercedes-Benz, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here, too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.